Back in the kitchen with Batty Catty. And question for you kids. How many of you have ever seen your mom, dad, grandma, whoever do the dishes? Raise your hand. Okay. Now how many of you have ever helped do the dishes? Maybe some of you. A lot of you have not. Doing the dishes is something that we have to do all the time. Think about how often we eat. And if you learn to do the dishes and help out around the house, I'm sure your parents will really appreciate you and they'll probably even keep feeding you. So come along, we're going to do the dishes. But before we do, can't do the dishes without some music. Let's put on a record. Today's selection is Joni Mitchell's live album called Shadows and Light. This is one of my favorite albums ever made. It was the first Joni Mitchell album I ever appreciated. And it was recorded at the Santa Barbara County Bowl, 1979. Pretty cool. Let's put it on.
First of all, let me bring the persuasions back.
Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill up the sink with some water. This little stopper thing can either let the water through or it can keep the water from going in, or draining out of the sink, I should say. So make sure you have this set right, otherwise the water is just going to be going down. Look, the water disappeared. We didn't have it set right. There we go, now it's filling up. I always have trouble with that one. I don't have many dishes to do, so I'm not going to fill it up very far. Next step, add some soap into one of the sides. I've moved all the dishes off to the side so that I don't have to worry about cutting my hand on anything like a knife or a broken piece of glass. If you're a little kid, make sure you're asking your parents before you do this, and making sure that you're not trying to wash any knives yet until you've gotten better at washing dishes. This one's okay, it's just a butter knife, not very sharp. And when you wash dishes, make sure you're getting all the food off. You don't want mom or dad to have to wash them again after you. That one's clean, now I'm gonna rinse it off. I always put knives with the blade down when I put them away. If you're having trouble reaching the sink, make sure you get a chair or a stool or something that makes it easier. Very careful washing glasses. If you drop them in the water too hard, they could crack and break, and then a sharp part could cut you. I have a scar on my hand right there from where I cracked a glass and it slid open my hand many years ago, and I'll always remember it. So now I'm extra careful. If you find a dish that's really hard to clean, like this garlic press, it has garlic stuck in it, just let it sit in the water for a while you do the other dishes. This plate has some hard to get off spots, so I'm just going to let that sit in the water for a little bit too. Now I'm going to my knives. Probably best if you don't do knives until you get better at doing dishes. The main thing with the knives is to just be very careful. And I always put my knives away with the blades down. In case I reach for something else, I don't get stuck on a knife. Okay, I didn't really show you how my drying area is set up, but I have one of these drying racks, and underneath it I have a towel, and to the side of it I have another towel where I can set glasses upside down so that they dry. And then every once in a while I'll take those towels off, dry them, and wash them and clean them. But they stay pretty clean since it's just getting wet and not really dirty. Okay, most important step, we're not done yet. We've done all the dishes, but now we're going to wring out our sponge and wash our sponge so that it can be reused later and doesn't have all kinds of food on it. I'm going to put that up here where I leave it to dry. I'm going to take out my stoppers. Sink is draining, and this one's draining. I think I'm going to save this rinse water because it's really not dirty, and I'm going to use it to water some plants. Right, now we wash out the sink. Put my stoppers up here with my sponges. And now with a towel or a paper towel, I'm gonna wipe down the whole sink area. That's everything. The back, the front, the spout, the handles, the back of it. I'd probably do this with a regular towel, but right now, with everybody worried about everything being clean, I'm using paper towels and throwing them out. Remember, doing dishes is just the first part. The most important part is leaving a clean sink. That's the part Mom will really enjoy the most. We've got our dishes drip drying. We've got our cat watching over to make sure that nobody steals the dishes. And after those are dry, we're going to put them away. We want to make sure that all the dishes go back where they're supposed to be. That way, when someone's looking for them, they're easy to find. So there's a few parts to doing dishes. You've got to wash them. You've got to put them out to dry. You've got to clean the sink. And then you've got to put the dishes away. And if you do that, I bet your parents will even keep feeding you.